Hi everyone, I'm going to work in this junk journal today. It's all made from paper bags that I've just made one signature with all kinds of paper bags, as you can see. And I've got some leftovers, all kinds of rectangles from watercolor paper, and I thought that maybe I can use them to create some background, some textured background. So I'm just going to start gluing them to this 2 pages. I'm going to start with the larger pieces and try not to overthink it. Let's put the larger pieces first. So I'm just taking some white glue and I'm going to start gluing the pieces down. I think I will go over also, yeah, and mostly I want the texture to go from here to here, so I will have some kind of movement on the page. And here we go. I'm just putting down glue and putting the pieces without too much thinking about it. Now I'm not trying to make some stairs, but I'm going to break it as I go. But right now I'm just putting them like this. I'm trying to be quick about it because it really doesn't matter. Okay. So now I'm just going to reach for the other pieces and continue gluing them. Yeah, let's put this one here. I'm very generous with the glue. I don't know. Let's hope this will work because I have the fold here. Maybe with enough glue. Okay. So as you can see, I'm just gluing rectangles all over the place, and I really hope that it will create a subtle texture, because it's only paper. It is watercolor paper, but it's not that thick. And if not, I just hope it will work. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to keep just gluing the rest of the pieces, and then I'll be back. Okay, so all the rectangles are glued, and now I want to put gesso on top of everything. Now I'm using a gesso that I've put a little bit of water, otherwise the other one I have is so heavy it will make more texture that I'm not interested in, because then I won't have anything here. I'm going to use a soft brush and we'll see where it gets me. If not, I will use a baby wipe, because again I don't want to create more texture with the gesso. I just want to prime or everything and bring the two pages to the same place. I'm not really concerned about this one being brown and this one being blue. It really doesn't matter. There's going to be more paint coming over, so just, yeah, it seems like it works. Again, I've picked the soft brush, so I won't have too much of texture with the gesso. If you are using hard bristle brush, you will have more texture with the gesso. So, and of course I can always take a baby wipe and do something like that. Up to you, whatever works for you. Maybe you do want more texture. So I'm just covering everything and trying to work it into all this texture. Okay, so I need more. Okay. So listen to myself when I'm using this gesso with the water, not to skimp on it. Just use it freely. I think I will add a little bit more here. Of course, this needs to dry before I'm doing anything else. Or maybe, just maybe, I will add some paint as it's still wet, and it will just blend more. I don't know. No, I think I'll just let it dry. So I'll be back. Okay, so starting with paint, I've got several colors here. Three of the gray ones are just something from the cheap store, so I don't have any names for them. And I've got three from Art Deco. I've got ice blue, bead blue, and hydrogenia blue. And I want to play with them. And I think I'm going to use the baby wipe just to keep it light. I don't want to start with heavy coating of paint, and we'll see where it gets me. I'm starting with the darker color. It looks almost black, but it is just a dark gray. So I'm spreading it with the baby wipe. Not completely planned this page. I just wanted to use the pieces I had. So I'm moving on to the next color. It's a more grayish with a tint of blue, I think, and I'm just trying to blend it with the other color and keep working it. Now this one is from the cheap store, and it happens to be a really light one. It's not it's somewhat translucent. It's not heavy duty acrylic paint. And now I have here a piece where I wiped some of the gesso. I don't mind. Let's see. I can just bring in the gesso again, and I'll let this dry and then continue. Really doesn't matter. Maybe it will just add to the grungy look. So I'm being very light here. And I'm moving to the lighter color of gray. Oopsie. Dipped into the darker one. Okay. I can probably do it with a very soft paintbrush, but I'm already working with this baby wipe, so I'm going to just continue. Okay, it's starting to take shape like I want it to. The gesso is still wet, and whenever I'm putting my finger, it's lifting it. So, never mind. Let's take another baby wipe. And going for another color. I'm just playing. I could probably just do the page with less, but I have it, I'm using it, I'm having fun blending the colors. And I'm just switching in between. When it looks too, I don't know, sometimes it looks to me like too much of a baby blue, so I'm just adding from the gray to tone it down. Let's see. The fold is always the problem. Okay. I think I need more of the darker color in several places. Now I can add. Subtracting is almost impossible, so it's always good to start light and then add more. I'm going around the page just to have some framing. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm going to let this dry before I'm doing anything else, so I won't lift whatever paint I already got, and I'll be back. Okay, so this is dry. I want to make my texture more I don't know, more pronounced on the page, and I'm just using this 10B pencil. The graphite is darker and softer, and I'm going to go in between the pieces. It just gives me more control of what's going on. You can use a Stabilo all-purpose black pencil, and it will activate it with water. You can use spray, you can use watercolors that will pick all the texture. There are so many ways to go about it. Now as I'm doing it, it's still wet. I thought it was dry, but it's still wet, so I need to be real careful. You can also use watercolor pencils, and I'm also going to use the left what's left of this dark gray here. I'm taking a hard bristle brush with as little paint as I can, and I'm going to brush it, dry brush the pieces like so, and it just picks more of the texture. You can also take a black ink pad or any other color and swipe it on top of all this texture. Another way to go about it. So many things that you can try. So at least the paint right now doesn't drag whatever I have underneath, because it still seems to be wet. So I'm just gonna continue with dry brushing. I wanted to use something dry like the pencil, so I won't have to wait, but never mind. Continuing, whatever happens happens, and this just adds to the grungy look. I'm not even sure what I'm going to use as a focal point. As I said, I just wanted to use the pieces, and I really wanted to do something with gray and blue. Don't know why. And so I'm just making it as I go. When I will be satisfied with the background, then I will know, I hope so, what kind of focal point I want. So I'm also now going in several places to decide just where I think it's needed. Okay, starting to take some more definition. Let's see, maybe a little bit here in between. Yeah, I think this is it. Okay, so now I'm really going to let this dry before I'm doing some damage, and then I'll see about focal point. And I also think I'm going to use some stamps to add more visual texture to the background. I'll be back. Okay, so adding some more details in the back. I've picked this stamp. It's just going with the grungy look, although I'm planning on doing something in contrast to all these rectangles and, I don't know, industrial grungy look. So we'll see where it's going, but right now I'm just going to stamp it, and I'm not really concerned about it being perfect. I'm just adding some more details. Yeah, and let's see. So it won't be the same. I'm just overlapping and adding. Yep. And let's do one here. Yeah. And a little bit here to the side. Yeah, I like it. So now I'm just wondering, I wanted just a hint in several places, not really a complete print of the stamp. Yes. Okay, so now I'm going to add some text. I love text in the background, and I've picked this stamp because I like how it's round, caressive, and it's like the opposite of what I have going here. And I'm again just going to add this quite randomly. Oh yeah, I like it. Yeah, that's enough. So I've got all the details, I've got all the background, and I was trying to think what is going to be my focal point, and I decided that I want something to be in contrast with all this grunge, and I'm thinking of course of some flowers or leaves. I've got some that I've done on some tissue paper that can maybe work, because when I will glue it, then it will disappear mostly into the background, like when you are doing paper napkin. But I'm not sure if this will work for me. Maybe if I'll just, you know what, let's see. I'm just going to take it out. I'm taking a brush with water. Almost like you do with paper napkins, just easier. I'm taking it out because that's the only way I can see if it fits on my page. And if it doesn't, then it will be ready for another page. Okay, let's see. Maybe it will work. Maybe I need to add something, another one. I'm not sure. I've got another option. I've got a paper napkin with heterogeneous, so it will go with the color, but I don't want all this cluster of flowers. I think I want just one. So once again, let's take only one out of the paper napkin. You see, sometimes it's as you go. Not everything is planned. The stem I'll do by myself. I just need the flower. I'm worried that it's too small for my page and maybe I will need the larger ones. Not ones. I really don't know what's going on today. Let's take the larger one. I'm trying to be quick about it because this is quite boring, although you can always keep ahead. Maybe this one. Not sure. Maybe this one, and I'm going to offset it with this. No, it doesn't work for me. I really like this. It's just not enough for this page. I like the black on top of all this. Okay, I'm going to take a break and figure out what to do about the focal point, and I'll be back. Okay, so I decided I want this flower. I use this stencil and I've stenciled it on a paper napkin so I can glue it to my page and the white backing will disappear into the background. I will show you how I've done it. It's so easy, and yes, you can stencil on paper napkins. You just have to be very careful about it. So here is the white backing of a paper napkin. You take your stencil, makeup sponge, and the less amount of acrylic paint that you can, dab it and just start stenciling. Now you can see it looks almost gray and it doesn't cover everything, but you need to be patient and you just go over until you get the result that you want. That's how you don't wet everything and then the paper napkin will tear. So I'm just doing it like this, and of course the whole thing, and then I can come back and add another layer when it's dry. And I've of course taking out the image from the paper napkin is just again with a paintbrush with a little bit of water. You just go around and you take it out of the rest of the paper napkin. So I've got my background, and and when you're stenciling on a paper napkin, use something like plastic or nylon or whatever underneath so it won't stick. Okay, so I've got this, and now I want to adhere it to my page. I'm taking white glue that has a little bit of water just so it won't drag. I don't have measurements, amounts of water, it's just a feel. And I'm thinking of putting it here, so I'm just going to put first a lot of glue. When you want to adhere a paper napkin, always use a soft brush, again, so it won't drag and tear the paper napkin. Okay, so I've got a lot of glue here, maybe just a little bit, and let's see, I'm putting it here. Now I'm going on top and I'm going to move from the center towards the outside, and you use the flat of the brush gently. Again, it needs to slide and not drag the paper napkin, and there will always be wrinkles and I don't care. And of course when it dries it almost disappears completely into the background. So from the inside towards the outside, although it's dry yet, you can already see the stamping in the back. Now the other thing why I used the paper napkin, not only because it goes translucent, it's also because I've got a lot of texture underneath. So that's why I haven't used the stencil directly on my page. For me it's easier to stencil on the paper napkin and then adhere it than try to stencil on top of all the texture. Okay, this needs to be dry completely, and some of the leaf here just, I don't know, got screwed up, so I will fix it when it's dry. Because I've used black or very dark gray, I can always come in with some permanent marker and do some fixing. Right now it needs to be completely dry. I'll be back. Okay, so here it is. While I was waiting for this to dry, I stenciled the words "Be Strong," and now, as I said, I just want to fix this leaf, and I'm using a black permanent marker. Of course, you can use something like acrylic based, like Posca pens. Just up to you. You can always fix this kind of thing. If I want to fix here, I've got a jelly roll pen. Again, whatever you have that will work. It's still fixable if you feel something is not completely as it should be. But this is it. That's my page, and I'm really liking what's going on here. So it worked. So thank you for watching, and thank you for leaving me comments down below. I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.